Hey everybody, welcome to the weekend edition. What weekend, you ask? Well, I'm glad you did ask for the May 14th and May 15th weekend of 2022. I am your host, Tyler Sage at Ring of Tyler, and I appreciate you joining, as always, as we do the news of the weekend. So let's get right into it. From an in ring standpoint, some of the biggest news the past couple days is Juice Robinson is your new IWGP United States champion, and he won that in a fatal four-way match that featured himself, John Moxley, Will Ospreay, and Tanahashi. So, of all four people involved in the match, um, I'd say Juice is the least likely one to win. So, New Japan is good at doing that from time to time to give a surprise champion. I think, you know, that is, with the lack of the Intercontinental title now that being fused into the World title, uh, there's less belts, and that one is a little bit more prestigious, the U.S. title, but it's still a mid card title. And if you want to push someone like Juice Robinson, I think he's a good person to have it and not, have the constant, not way down, but John Moxley is part of AEW, not New Japan, so having him hold it for the longest that anyone's ever held it is not a great idea. Tanahashi, you know, it feels like something for him to do, just like with Osprey, when they are more main event guys than Juice or Moxley is, depending on based on their situation. So I like the call. I like Juice, and I want to see where this goes. So a you know the surprising move of title change on a New Japan show is always kind of exciting to see where it goes. So there you go. We also have news on Hikaru Shida, why she was not able to be a participant in the Owen Hart tournament. And essentially, she was over in Japan. And you can read her tweet online if you would like to. It seemed like a bit of kayfabe mixed with reality. That she was in Japan and she wasn't cleared to get through the country. Now that could be because of her street fight, or it could be of other reasons that we all are aware of. But she's in Japan and couldn't clear in time to get to the country to participate in the tournament. So Chris Statlander was added. So a good pivot, I think, by AEW to have another, not equal. She's not a former AEW World Champion, but um, at least a return that felt odd because it never felt like Statlander went away. But none other. You can go to Hikaru Shida's Twitter page to see the full quote she has on why she couldn't enter the country, but that is why. So, all right, next I want to talk about Dark Elevation. So, if you watch Rampage, you saw there's a segment between the Acclaimed and the Gun Club backstage, and Billy Gunn was, it was a comedy bit, but essentially pushed that he got them a match, the four of them, on Dark Elevation, and they all cheered and were excited about it. And this is, you get these occasionally. You get Dark and Dark Elevation promos on TV, but it's been a minute, so I noted that. And then also with that, the main event of Dark Elevation this week will be Mercedes Martinez defending her Ring of Honor Women's World Championship against Trish Adora, which feels very much ROH, as Trish was signed to Ring of Honor right before the end of the Sinclair version of Ring of Honor. So the reason I bring this up, besides being an ROH women's title match on YouTube, is it feels like a big push for Elevation this week than typical, and that makes me wonder personally. This is not news being reported. This is all editorializing at this point. Is before there's a deal, either streaming or with another network or any other entity, is Ring of Honor going to be a YouTube property, and is that going to take the place of Dark Elevation? Will you have AEW Dark, and will you have Ring of Honor as its own entity that appears on its own time? Maybe it's shot at the studio in Orlando, maybe it's not, but just something to keep an eye on. I think I wouldn't be totally opposed to that, and would make ROH feel more grounded within AEW if it was under the AEW umbrella, and if it's simulcast on the Ring of Honor YouTube channel and the AEW YouTube channel, it would feel a little more. It would be there to get hundreds of thousands of eyeballs on it, and I think that would be a good way to sell the product to a streamer, a provider, what have you, and get just more content that you can easily package when AEW has some sort of streaming service. So just keep an eye out for that. I just find that interesting. So finally, 73-year-old Ric Flair has confirmed that he is training to get back in the ring and work at least a match. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer has speculated slash reported that the slotted match at this time is FTR and Ric Flair versus Rock and Roll Express and quote somebody. So who that somebody is, who knows? I assume a younger person to balance the ages and have a more modern act. If it's Jay Briscoe, the main of the Briscoe brothers, that makes sense. Kind of the FTR Briscoes, and then obviously the classic Ric Flair versus Rock and Roll. So we'll see. I, for one, am not pining for this, so I'm just reporting the news. But I certainly do not think this will take place in AEW with all of Ric Flair's stuff up in the air and why he was going to be brought in that didn't. So I don't know if this is NWA, which Rock and Roll Express do a lot of shows for, or if it's like GCW, if it's like a big show, if it's a spring break type atmosphere. So look out for that. I find it interesting, maybe morbidly curious, than regularly curious. But yeah, Ric Flair's trying to get back in the ring, and we'll see what happens. Again, I'd be shocked if it's AEW, but you can't write it out completely. So FTR currently signed to AEW. Rock and Roll have worked pay-per-views, not a match, but they came out and helped the Young Bucks and or took on the Young Bucks. I can't remember what happened exactly. Someone in the comments below, please let me know. But yeah, so who knows? But we will see. That's all the news I got for you this weekend, everybody. So appreciate you, and we'll see you back here.